I never believed extraordinary things happened to ordinary people like me. My life was predictable. Wake up, go to work, come home, repeat. I lived in a small apartment above a convenience store, paid my bills on time, avoided trouble, and never stood out in a crowd. If someone had asked the universe to pick the least likely person to become part of an intergalactic event, my name would have been at the top of the list. But that changed the night the sky split open. It started without warning. No alarms, no news alerts, no government announcement. Just a strange glow outside my window at exactly 2:17 a.m. I remember because I had been staring at my clock, struggling with insomnia, when the room suddenly turned blue. At first, I thought it was a power outage or maybe fireworks, but when I looked outside, I saw something impossible hovering over the city skyline, a massive spacecraft, silent and glowing like a second moon. It didn't move like anything human-made. It floated as if gravity had forgotten it. People gathered outside, cars stopped, phones came out. And then it happened. A beam of light descended from the ship, striking the ground in the middle of the street below my building. The air shimmered, and from that light, figures began to emerge. They were not human. Tall, elegant beings stepped forward, their skin faintly luminous, their eyes reflecting galaxies. They wore armor that looked grown rather than built, flowing like liquid metal. The crowd gasped, some screamed, others fell to their knees. And then she arrived. She was unlike anyone else. Even among the alien entourage, she stood out. Her presence wasn't just seen, it was felt, like gravity shifting around her. She wore a silver-blue crown embedded with floating crystals that rotated slowly, as if they were alive. Her eyes scanned the crowd calmly, but with something deeper beneath it. Sadness, maybe loneliness. I should have run. I should have been afraid like everyone else. Instead, I stayed frozen at my window, watching her. Then her eyes stopped, right on me. It felt impossible. There were thousands of people outside, yet her gaze locked on to my tiny apartment window like she had been searching for me specifically across the entire universe. She raised a hand slightly, and everything changed. The next thing I remember is falling. Not physically falling, but reality shifting. The room dissolved into light, and suddenly I was no longer in my apartment. I was standing outside, right in front of her. The air smelled different, cleaner, charged, electric. The crowd was silent. Every human eye was now on me. Whispers spread instantly. Who is he? Why him? Is he part of this? I had no answers. My heart was pounding so loudly I thought it might explode. The alien princess stepped closer. Up close, she was even more unreal. Her face carried both strength and exhaustion, like she had been carrying an entire civilization on her back. She spoke, but not with sound. The words formed directly in my mind. You are the one I found beyond the signal. I nearly collapsed. I think you've got the wrong person, I whispered, even though I wasn't sure if my voice mattered. For the first time, she smiled faintly. There is no mistake. Behind her, her guards shifted uneasily. One of them stepped forward and spoke in a sharp alien tongue. Though I couldn't understand the words, the tone was clear. Disapproval. Warning. The princess lifted her hand slightly and they fell silent instantly. Then she did something that made the entire crowd erupt. She reached for my hand. The moment our skin touched, visions exploded in my mind. Stars collapsing, civilizations rising and falling, a war spanning galaxies. And at the center of it all, a strange mark that matched a strange mark on my wrist I had had since birth. I had always thought it was just a birthmark. Now it was glowing. Gasps erupted from the crowd. Cameras zoomed in. Somewhere someone screamed that this was impossible. But the princess only looked at me with something that now felt unmistakable. Recognition. You carry the lost imprint, she said in my mind, the key to ending the silent war. I pulled my hand back immediately, shaking. I don't know anything about wars or keys or any of this. I'm just me. Her expression softened. That is why you were chosen. Before I could respond, a deep sound echoed from the sky. The alien ship above us shifted, its lights turning red. The atmosphere changed instantly. Even the air felt heavier. The princess looked up sharply. Fear. It was the first human emotion I clearly recognized on her face. "They have found me." The crowd panicked. People started running. Sirens finally began blaring in the distance as human authorities reacted too late. But the princess didn't move away from me. Instead, she stepped closer, almost protective. And then she said the words that changed everything. "You must decide." "Decide what?" I asked, barely able to breathe. Her eyes locked onto mine. "Come with me, or let your world fall without understanding why." The sky above us cracked open again. Smaller ships descended, aggressive this time. Not elegant like hers. These were weapons. The crowd screamed as energy blasts struck the ground far away, sending shockwaves through the streets. This was no longer a first contact. It was an invasion. Her guards moved to defend her, forming a glowing barrier around us. The princess grabbed my wrist again, tighter this time. "If you stay, you will die. If you come, you may change everything." I looked around. People were running, screaming, praying. My normal life, the boring, safe existence I had always known, was already gone. And yet, somehow, she wasn't looking at me like I was weak. She was looking at me like I mattered, like I had always mattered. I took a shaky breath. "What happens if I go with you?" For the first time, her voice entered my mind with something almost like warmth. "Then you become part of something bigger than fear." Another explosion shook the ground. I made my choice. "Okay, I'm with you." The moment the words left my mouth, the world tilted. Light consumed everything. When my vision returned, I was no longer in my apartment. I was standing outside, right in front of her. A vast alien ship floating above a dying planet below. My planet, Earth. The princess stood beside me, watching it silently. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she finally said, almost quietly, "You were not chosen by accident." I looked at her. "Then why me?" She turned toward me, and for the first time, her expression wasn't distant or royal. It was personal. "Because long before I arrived on your world, you were already part of mine." And as the stars stretched endlessly before us, I realized my life on Earth had not been a beginning or an ending. It had only been the first chapter of something far larger, something that had been waiting for me across the universe, something that had finally found me in the form of an alien princess who chose me in front of everyone. And now, there was no going back.